I want to thank the Nelt boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, busting with the boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
Welcome back to America Decides. That was UFC CEO Dana White on election night, highlighting former president, now President-elect Trump's strategy of going on podcasts that targeted young male voters of all ethnicities. CBS News exit polling finds that the president-elect won white men under 30 by 7 percentage points. I want to bring in Peter Hamby. He is the host of Snapchat's Good Luck America. He is also a partner at Puck News, and for whatever this might be worth, I urge you to read Puck when you can. Peter, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here on Bussin' with the Boys with you, Major.
So we've had you on the show throughout the campaign to talk about the outreach to the so-called and possibly overhyped bro vote. Evaluate.
Yeah, look, I think that narrative has captured a lot of attention because it is the biggest shift if you look at voters under 30 compared to just 4 years ago, and of course, the 2016 election and both of Obama's elections before that. But we should point out, Kamala Harris also underperformed compared to Joe Biden in 2020 among young women, among young Latinos, among young Black voters. And she was supposed to win young women by 30 points. According to the Harvard Youth Poll, she won them by 20. So it's not just them. It's worth pointing out, I think, because a lot of Democrats are doing soul searching right now about how to win back men and win back young men, that this is not an overnight project. You can't just say, oh, let's put our candidate on Joe Rogan and see what happens. Donald Trump has been doing this for years, and it's also just adjacent to other cultural shifts that are happening in the job marketplace, on campuses, in the media. They all sort of dovetail together. So as Democrats look forward on how to get young men back, they need something to say about the economy, specifically in this case, in this election, before also going into those spaces. But those spaces aren't also super welcoming to Democrats in certain ways. I would say Joe Rogan is and Theo Vaughn is, but it's a complicated path ahead for Democrats for sure.
Peter, to pay you a compliment, I want to read part of a piece you have on Puck right now, headlined Kamala's Wasted Youth. And this goes into some of the things you were just discussing. Quote, sure, young white dudes broke for Trump, but Harris also underperformed with almost every kind of young person. Young white women, young Black voters, and young Latinos who went for Harris by only 6 points. Harris even ran behind Biden in cities and counties that are home to big college towns, at the University of Wisconsin, at Penn State, at East Carolina, at the University of Georgia, and so on. Peter, you know as well as I do, Democrats were talking through the fall about this secret key they had to the electorate. College towns were going to be great for them. Kids were going to re-register in those college towns from wherever they came from. It did not materialize.
It sure didn't, Major. And you travel when you can and get out there. I spent October on college campuses, including some of those campuses that I wrote about there. Penn State is a great example. Penn State, it's in Center County, right in the middle of Pennsylvania. This isn't the specific college precincts. That's a whole county. We need to see more details. But Joe Biden won that county in 2020 by 6 points. Donald Trump won Center County, where Penn State is located this time. Part of that is Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's young conservative group made some investments there. But I think, again, there's just broader cultural and political shifts happening among young men. And if you go look at a bunch of counties like the ones I just mentioned, Clark down in Georgia or Dane County in Wisconsin, she ran at parity or behind where Joe Biden was last time. Kamala Harris ran worse among young voters than Hillary Clinton did, Major. So for all of the hype about TikTok and Brat Summer, she wasn't really sealing the deal, despite changing the vibes and the energy around young voters when she replaced Joe Biden on the ticket. She did worse than Hillary Clinton did, who was almost infamously remembered as someone who was very stiff and unrelatable to younger voters. So it's not just her. I think she ran the best campaign she could in that situation. Democrats just have a longer road to go to inspire young voters again, especially with economic circumstances that don't really favor them right now. So many of the young voters I talked to, Major, were scared of graduating into an economy where the rent would be too high and they couldn't afford day-to-day living.
Rent and day-to-day living. Peter Hamby, as always, a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Major.
听懂。